So just as an introduction, I think some people I've met before, some people I haven't. My name's Leanne Williams. I'm the new policy analyst for ADBA. So I've been with ADBA for a couple of months now, and this is my first presentation on Remo. So hopefully there won't be too many issues, but if there are, I do apologise. I'm sure Roberta will let me know as soon as if there is anything wrong. So yeah, just as you're probably all aware, I'm going to go through the pipeline document with you guys. Yeah, so I'll share my screen now, and hopefully, oh, hang on a minute. Sorry, Roberta, it's there we go. Did the classic. Okay, so I just want to check that you can all see it. Roberta, if you can let me know. Hopefully that's sharing.
Yeah.
Okay,
you can
perfect.
see it. And just a reminder to our audience, if you want to see that spreadsheet in full screen mode, just click on the 4 arrows in the top right corner of the box, where the Excel is. If you can see that, there's four little arrows in the top right corner of that box. Just click on to zoom in.
Yeah, excellent. So for those of you that don't know how to access this, it is available on the members section of the website. So if you go onto the market analysis section, and it's under operational data, so then you'll have to enter your password, access it there, and then there's a password just to enter the document, but that's all written there on the website. So it's pretty straightforward, but if you do have any issues, just let you can either contact myself or one of the sales guys, and they'll help you access that. So yeah, so as Roberta said, if you have any questions as you're going along, if you type them in the box, Roberta will just chip in as and when. Yeah, so this is the introduction page. You'll have the key contacts. It's myself and Dr. Nick. So if you do have any issues, you can email us or call us through there. If you have any updates that you want to send through to us, you can find our information there. So yeah, so this is really just an overview of the document. You can click through, you can see all the contents and the descriptions of the different sections on the bottom. And here really is just kind of an overview of how this information is collected, what the different colour codes mean, and then there's also an example of, it kind of just explains what the codes are. So for example, food waste, the code is FW. You'll see this as we go on to the operational document. Yeah, and at the bottom, you know, there's you'll be able to see all the assumptions that have been used in order to fill in some of the data where we've not had all the data to hand. So I'll take you to the operational section. So here is kind of the real bulk of the data that we have. And as you can see, there's absolutely loads of information here. So we've got a list of operators. It'll take you through developer, site name, electrical capacity. I won't read through all of these, but just kind of flick through just to give you an overview. Feedstock descriptions, addresses, postcodes, all that, and then year of commissioning, etc. And then what you can do, which is really neat, you can go through and just use the drop down boxes. So if you want to search for a particular operator, you can do, or say, for example, if you wanted to look for plants that had a certain electrical capacity, you can filter it, and you can sort of add a number filter here as well. So, you know, or if you want to have a look at all plants that are greater than 0.5, you just need to add that there, and then it'll filter the data there for you accordingly. So yeah, so just I guess a note here. So it does take a little bit of time because it's uploaded to the to our SharePoint site. All this information we keep as up to date as best as we can, but if you do notice that there is any sort of data that might be a little bit out of date, or you know of any additional plants, then that's great. Sorry, I should have. Yeah, so if you do have any information that you want to add, just drop myself or drop Nick an email and just let us know, and we'll get that added and updated onto the pipeline. Yeah, so then from here we've got the sewage plants here, and again it's very much a similar setup. You can just click through addresses, postcodes, capacities, etc. So the next tab we have is the the planning received. Again, like, we try and keep this information as up to date as possible, but if you know of anything that you can't see there on the pipeline, just drop us a message, drop us an email. And then planning application submitted. That's pretty self-explanatory. So I think one of the really useful parts of this document is you can get a snapshot over time. So what I've had to do, just because we have got there's quite a few people watching this presentation, so I have had to take out some of the actual information. But when you access the pipeline directly, you'll be able to see all this. But essentially, this is the part of the document that gives you a real snapshot of the industry. And there's absolutely loads here. I won't bore you and read through them all. But yeah, there's snapshots, plants broken down by electricity, heat only by methane, an overview of proposed ADE plants, separated into the sewage sector, feedstocks, and things like that. So what I would really recommend when you get a spare 5-10 minutes is just to have a look on this document, and go to the snapshot section, and just kind of have a look and see, because there's some really, really useful information there that there's loads. So hopefully I appreciate that sometimes scrolling through when we're presenting kind of isn't quite, it can be a little bit clunky, so hopefully it's not too bad. But yeah, as you scroll down, you can just see that there's absolutely loads of different things, and you can separate it out from, there's like different geographical regions, feedstocks, sizes of plants, capacity. Yeah, so there's absolutely loads there. And then another really interesting sheet is the overtime. So again, this just looks at sort of how the industry has developed over time. And yeah, again, there's so much there that it's really worth just going in and having a look. And what I would say is, I'm really interested to get feedback from yourselves. What it is that, well, do you use it? I'd be really interested to hear in the comment section, whether you do use the pipeline, what you used it for. Is there something that, a dashboard or a chart or something like that that you'd really like to see that would really make this tool more useful for you guys? Yeah, so just either drop me an email or drop a comment in the section. That'd be really interesting to hear. Yeah, and then, so I won't spend too much time there, but there's also some sections with different charts that bring all that information from the snapshot. Yeah, and there's some graphical information there. And then going through, there's information on capacity of installations registered under ROOFIT, the RHI, deployment data. Sorry, I don't know if I'm going through this a bit too quickly. And then feed-in tariffs and commissioned installations. So that information is all there as well. So that's kind of the overview of the document. And as I said, yeah, we really, really would like to hear from you guys, whether you use it, what you use it for. Any feedback that you have is really, really, really appreciated. And just a couple of things actually that I need to mention. So all this information is pulled through from quite a lot of complicated formulas. So just a note that if you do make any amendments, say for example, if you wanted to use the data yourself and you added an extra line or an extra column or row, just be mindful that sometimes you might knock out some of the formulas. So just kind of keep an eye out on that, because otherwise you might be working from, if you've added column or something, it might knock the data a little bit. Yeah, and then the other thing that really just to get over is that we try and keep it as up to date as possible. But if you do have any information, if you do see anything that's potentially out of date, just do let us know, and we will update that straight away. Yeah, and I think really that's it. Unless we've had any comments that have come through. Cool.
Leanne, how frequently is this data set updated?
Yeah, it's updated every 6 months. So we're going to be publishing the most up-to-date one, sort of pretty much hopefully next week after this. So yeah, so if you do have any amendments that you've noticed on the old document, just drop me an email, and that would be great.
Okay, and and then the page itself is it's on adbioresources.org/members area/market analysis.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to put that link in the chat box, and just remind our viewers that they have to check that link next week for the next round of data. Is that right?
Yeah. That's
okay. I'll put it there. Okay. I'll also put that link in the thank you email to everyone that attended today, and in the members newsletter next week as well. If that's right with you, yes.
Yeah, and yeah, and I can I'll type in my email address now, just so that if anybody does want to drop me an email separately with any feedback or comments, then that's absolutely fine.
Excellent. That's a good idea. So your email address will be in there, and if you're trying to access the data and you can't access it because you don't have a login, it could be a couple of reasons. If you don't have a login, it could be that you're not an ADBA member, and you probably should speak to one of our membership team to discuss how to register to the association so you can get access to this document. So in the thank you email, I'll put who to speak to for that. And it could be that you are an ADBA member, but you've lost your password or you don't have a username set up for whatever reason. So you should also speak to our database administrator to get your username reset or created from anew. And I'll leave the details of that person in the email to you guys as well. Were there any questions or comments? You can put your questions or comments in the chat box or the Q&A box now.
And then if there is anything, I'll be around for the networking event as well. So if anybody wants to talk to me directly, then just have a look for me on one of the tables. That's absolutely fine as well. Okay.
That's brilliant. Okay. Okay, so what we'll do next is we'll go back to the networking tables, and I'm going to leave the platform open until 4 o'clock. And you're welcome to network with each other and to meet some ADBA staff. And if you have any questions, I'm going to be in the top right corner a table that says remote technical support. But I highly encourage that you meet each other. I don't know about you guys where you are, but London, we've just entered our second lockdown. So these digital events are the best we have for meeting each other. So, it looks like there's a question. Here we are. There's a question, Leanne, for you from Rap. Can you see that in the Q&A?
Yeah, actually at the moment it's just purely UK based projects. So yeah, solely UK projects.
Solely UK projects. But Ralph, if you're interested in any market analysis of internationally, then I would defer you to our sister organization, the World Biogas association, and ADBA is the UK association, but ADBA is a member of WBA. So I'll send you a link to the market reports from WBA after this meeting, and we can have a chat from there, and you can ask me any more questions off the back of that. Any other questions from the group? It's Friday. The week's nearly over for us here in the UK, so I'm sure everyone is itching to finish off the day. I'm going to send us back to the networking tables, and I hope you guys have a really great rest of the afternoon and a wonderful weekend. Thanks.
Thanks, Rebecca.